These coins may look ordinary, small, worn, forgotten, but each one has traveled through decades of history, passed from hand to hand through war, recovery, and revolution. They've been in the pockets of soldiers, tucked into the purses of mothers, exchanged in corner stores, and carried by a nation learning how to rebuild itself. What you're looking at are pieces of America's past, not just money but memories, today. We're exploring 5 powerful years of the iconic Lincoln Wheat penny: 1946, 1949, 1951, 1956D, and 1968. Each one tells a different story. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. The legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Before we even touch these specific years, you need to understand the man behind the coin. Abraham Lincoln, a president who led America through its darkest time, the Civil War. A leader who preserved the Union and changed the course of history forever. In 1909, the United States made a bold decision. For the first time ever, a real person would appear on a circulating coin. The result? A design that would become legendary. Crafted by Victor David Brenner, the coin showed Lincoln's calm, thoughtful profile paired with 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, symbols of growth, unity, and prosperity. Produced by the United States Mint. This coin would circulate for nearly 50 years. And the coins in front of you, they come from the most emotionally powerful decades of that entire 1940, the world on the edge, a year that felt normal but wasn't. Because while Americans were going about their daily lives, the world was already at war. World War II had begun in Europe, countries were falling, armies were rising, and tension was spreading across the globe. But in the United States, life still looked ordinary. People used coins like this every day, bought groceries, paid for newspapers, took the bus. And that's what makes the 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny so powerful. It represents the last moments of peace, before everything changed. Made of 95% copper strong, detailed design widely circulated across pre-war America, this coin may have been in someone's pocket right before they were sent to war. Think about that. This isn't just a coin. It's a snapshot of a world standing on the edge of history. 1946. After the storm, 1946 wasn't just another year. It was the year after the world changed forever. World War II had just ended. Millions of soldiers were returning home. Some as heroes, some carrying scars, both seen and unseen. Factories that once built tanks and weapons were now shifting back to everyday goods. America was learning how to breathe again. And this coin, it was right there in the middle of it all, made from copper again, after wartime steel pennies in 1943, produced in massive numbers, used in everyday life during rebuilding. But here, what makes it powerful? This coin likely passed through hands that had just experienced war. Imagine it, a soldier buying his first coffee back home, a family rebuilding their lives, a child receiving change for candy in a world finally at peace. This isn't just a penny. It's a symbol of relief, survival, and new beginnings. 1951. Tension beneath the surface. 1951. On the surface, life looked normal. But underneath, a new kind of conflict was beginning, the Cold War. A battle not fought directly with weapons, but with fear, politics, and power. Yet everyday life continued. People still went to stores, paid for groceries, used coins like this one without thinking twice. That's what makes this coin fascinating. It represents normal life during abnormal times. It circulated during rising global tension. It's common but historically rich. This penny may have been used while people listened to news about nuclear threats or global standoffs. It's a reminder that even in uncertain times, life goes on. 1956D. The power of production. Now we focus on something collectors love: mint marks. This small letter D tells us something important. This coin was minted in Denver. During the 1950s, America's industrial power was at its peak. The United States Mint was producing coins in enormous quantities to support a rapidly growing economy. The 1956 D penny is a perfect example. Hundreds of millions produced, extremely common, in circulation but rare in flawless condition. Here's the key. Most of these coins were heavily used. So when collectors find one that's sharp, clean, and nearly untouched, that's where the real value begins. This coin represents mass production but also the hidden rarity of perfection. 1958, the end of an era. At first glance, it looks just like the others, same portrait. Same wheat design, nothing feels different, but everything is, because this was the final year that this design would ever be made. For nearly 50 years, since 1909, this coin had been part of everyday American life. It survived the Great Depression, two world wars, economic collapse, and recovery, and now its story was coming to an end. Minted by the United States Mint, the 1958 penny would be the last of its kind before a major change. In 1959, the reverse would be redesigned to feature the Lincoln Memorial. The wheat stalks, symbols of growth and unity, were gone. And just like that, an era ended. This coin may have been the last wheat penny someone ever spent without even realizing it. Think about that. A design that lived through generations ended quietly in someone's pocket. No celebration, no announcement, just change. 1958 is extremely important, historically common in circulation, but meaningful. High-grade, uncirculated versions can be collectible, represents the closing chapter of a legendary design. Value, rarity, and reality. Now let's talk honestly. Most of these coins are not extremely valuable. Many are worth only a few cents or slightly more. But here's what truly matters. Condition: mint state coins can be valuable. Errors or rare variations. Historical significance: a worn coin tells a story. A perfect coin tells a different one. Collectors don't just chase value, they chase history. These coins have lived lives. They've been dropped, lost, found, spent, and saved. They've existed in moments we can only imagine: war, peace, growth, fear, change. And somehow they survived. So next time you see an old penny, don't ignore it. Look closer. Because you might not just be holding money, you might be holding history. If you want to discover more hidden stories behind everyday coins, make sure to subscribe, because the next coin you find could be worth more than you think.